The People's Caravan is a group of community organizers, members of grassroots organizations, and individuals who are interested in learning from people's struggles for economic and social justice in Pennsylvania. The People's Caravan provided an amazing opportunity to build and strengthen ties between grassroots organizations in Pennsylvania working for just solutions to the economic crisis, to listen and amplify the voices of poor and working communities who are organizing to meet their needs. We want to express our outrage at cutbacks, layoffs, and foreclosures that hurt those not responsible for this crisis, and to demonstrate our hope that a better world is possible. On Monday, September 21st, 2009, the People's Caravan left from Philadelphia to visit communities from across the state of Pennsylvania who are creating solutions to the economic crisis. The first stop on the caravan was Lancaster. Lancaster is currently the #1 most surveilled city in the country. There we heard stories from many local organizers. The People's Caravan ended its journey in Pittsburgh, where the G20, a group of prime ministers and delegates representing 20 countries, were meeting to make decisions that will affect the poor and working people, the environment, and long-term sustainable development without involving any of us in the decision-making. As a response, thousands of people from all over the world came together to voice their dissent. Kensington Welfare Rights Union invited the caravan to York to meet with an ally group of trailer park residents. They have been organizing against their impending eviction. There we met with Deborah and other residents who told us the story of their land struggle against developers.
Starview is the mobile home sales company that NPI basically assigned to help us move our homes. And remember, it's a sales company, so right there tells you everything. They're going to tell you, we can give you this much money. And if you just stand there and say, oh, okay, and not think about it and take it, then you're basically being cheated, such as Bill and Ellen did. And their home's already gone now.
And they never had a problem with this until we went to the press. And they never had a problem with this until we went to the press. And they never had a problem with this until we went to the press. I was late on my rent, and I always send the extra money, to pay
any late fees or anything.
And I came, by the time I left for work and my husband came home, there was a thing from a magistrate on there for an eviction notice.
We want the value of our home, and if you give us the option to move it, pay the move for us. Why are we taking on a financial burden? We didn't ask for them to buy the land. And I thank everybody, because I think that it's not just the strength in numbers. It shows heart. It shows that people can take care of each other and they can help each other whenever it's needed. And I think that's a great thing.
On Tuesday, September 22nd, we marched with local residents to the Capitol steps in Harrisburg. The following are scenes from the rally we held there, focusing on the failure of legislators to pass a budget that meets the needs of struggling Pennsylvanians.
And we're on our way to Pittsburgh. About a year into the global financial crisis, and President Obama and the finance ministers from the 20 most industrialized nations are meeting to decide how it's going to be for the rest of us.
There's economic human rights violations all across America, but nobody's talking about it. Trillions of dollars just went handed over to the banks, and no one was outraged about it. Well, I'm outraged, and I know everybody behind me is outraged about it. So we're going to build a movement. We're going to end poverty. We have a vision. We know things are going to be different, but only if we stand up and fight for it, not if we sit back and relax and let these politicians off the hook. We got to hold them accountable for what they were elected to do, but we're not going to sit around and wait for them to do it for us. We're going to do it too. Tim Dowling, Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign. Economic human rights for all, now.
I also bring greetings to you from many of the political prisoners that are still in lockdown, locked up, and locked out, especially from Mumia Abu-Jamal, Russell Schultz, as well as myself.
Corruption has no place in our communities. Casinos contribute to increased poverty nationwide and drag our communities backward instead of forward. While we fight against casinos, we stand with everyone that works to create a world in which everyone can prosper.
I want to talk about the real issue at hand, which is grassroots organizing and why the People's Caravan is actually traveling through Pennsylvania. And that's to ensure that each and every family, you know what I mean, get an opportunity to know both sides of the coin. Because we hear one side every day in the mass media, but they don't ever hear the sides of the people in the communities that are fighting on a daily basis to try to get food, clothing, housing, healthcare. When you talk about war that's going on right now, no one wins at war. When you lose lives of innocent people, the budget's being spent in relationship to like millions and millions of dollars a week, you know what I mean, from Philadelphia, going out to, you know, support a war.
Our final stop before Pittsburgh was Melcroft.
I am the executive director, which is the fancy way of saying chief cook and bottle washer of the Mountain Watershed Association. So, our organization was founded in 1994, so we're in our 15th year, see? And we were founded as a reaction to a proposed deep mines. So you take the land and you divide the rights out from under it, so you still own the surface, but somebody else can come under your property and mine the coal, and you cannot stop them. Nor do they have to pay you to do it. When you have deep mining, they go underground, and that's where they stay, underground, to take the coal out.
The night of Wednesday, September 23rd, we arrived at the Bail Out the People tent city in Pittsburgh. Homeless people from all over the country had been camping there for a week to bring people's attention to the homeless epidemic.
We're here because of the G20. We've converged some of our members from around the country, and we're here to support the local Pittsburgh chapter of Iraq Veterans Against the War. We're going to have some folks come up and share their personal experience from Iraq and Afghanistan.
Again, my name is Chantel. I served in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve for a little over 6 years. I just entered the Individual Ready Reserve in May. 7 months of those 6 years in Iraq. And that was 7 months that my mother didn't know if the phone rang and it would be me, or if the phone rang and it would be somebody calling and telling her that she would never see me again. My mother and I are very close and still are. And every day now when the phone rings, she doesn't know if it will be me or somebody calling to tell her that I am not going to be here anymore because I can't do it anymore. She doesn't know that if the phone rings, it's not someone calling to tell her that I got my ass beat because I said I don't want to go back. My mother doesn't know if I don't call in 2 days that if I'm safe or if I'm okay anymore. There are mothers who don't know if they send their children to school in Iraq that their children will come home at night. There are mothers who will never see their children again. There are mothers who I helped take their sons, and I will not take any more for their profit. I will not give any more for their profit.